hit the like button, subscribe to Driven Within, and we on now. Hey, welcome to Driven Within, and it's your boy B Chat and my co-host.
Lady T.
And today we're gonna talk about how men are so scared of asking for help. Why are we so scared to ask for help? Why is that? What do you think?
I think it has to do with how people are brought up. Like I know people, and I know when I was growing up that it was just kind of like taught that you better not cry, and unfortunately, it was seen as a weakness if you cried, because boys are supposed to be stronger, or are supposed to be stronger.
And yes, that's a good point. But let's go way back. In history, men were always known as the provider. Men were always known as the hunter and gatherers. Men were always known as the strong ones that will protect their family no matter what. So, with that being said, they are not supposed to have emotions, are they? Are they supposed to show any fear? Are they supposed to show any kind of way of surrendering themselves, which is asking for help? People see that as surrendering yourself and pretty much putting yourself out there so that you can gain the knowledge that you need to get so that you can better yourself. But they didn't see that as that. They seen it as it was a weakness. So a man wasn't supposed to have a weakness. So even that, they didn't ask for help. I don't know many of them that asked for help. They automatically went into another show. It also went into let's talk about alcoholism. A lot of people drink alcohol because of their stress that they was going through. A lot of people went to drug use because of the stress they went through.
It was their outlet.
It's all outlets that they had to go through just based off of that fact that they couldn't express themselves. It was just, I have to deal with the pain, and that was it. So I talk about that because it is strong, not only in the black community, but just as for men in general. Black community, I can say for as a black man, we were always taught that we had to be strong. We can't automatically we get in trouble for crying. Why we get in trouble for crying? Why you say, yo, why you crying? What are you doing crying? Nah, I'm getting my belt. You wanna cry? You're not supposed to cry. You a boy. Get up and go do that. You fall. Get up. You ain't hurt. You all right. You breathing, aren't you? Get up. You gotta hear stuff like that. Why is that? Why do we have to hear that? Why, as a child, you hear stuff like that? And that right there just makes you that person that you are. And I'm sure not even just in the black community, but every community, a man was always seen as that. They always seen as they have to be the strong ones. But with being strong, does that keep you from expressing yourself, expressing your feelings? How is that not strong? If anything, like I would think that being able to express your feelings would be really strong in itself, because that is really hard to express your feelings anyway to anybody.
Maybe sometimes that was an excuse to avoid showing your feelings too. I don't know.
It could be.
On a comfort level, maybe it was uncomfortable. I think a little bit of everything, but mostly it was just that value of men are supposed to be this way.
Yeah, men are supposed to be. It was built within. I'm not even saying just the United States, or it would build within the world. Because if you look at all history, look at all places, the man is very dominant when it comes down to a lot of places. The United States is more comfortable with women doing more things. But if you go to other places, the women are not as, I would say they don't have much of a standout role more than anything with some cultures. Like they're not allowed to do a lot of things. Okay. So the man had to be, see, even the phone knows it. Phone is like, okay.
Siri's agreeing with you.
Siri understanding the truth. But end of the day, the man was not the man is they take the role of being the one that leads and the woman follows. But nowadays you have more of an equal role now, I would say. But some relationships, some things, they still not equal. But the thing about it, they say if a man is more emotional, he's not, if he's emotional, then he ain't strong. You agree with that? Hit the comment, put it in the comments, see if you agree with that. But I don't agree with that. Because you're going to be emotional and still be strong. I'm not talking about somebody who's going to be complaining, I'm crying all the time and all this. No, it's different levels to being emotional. Like, I'm not talking about the people who's crying and they crying every time somebody leave them, or they cry because of this, they cry because of that. And there are men out there who are like that. And yeah, I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about somebody who is willing to take their emotions and talk about it. They're willing to take their emotions and do something about it. Because in the end, their emotions lead them to actually growing off of something. They actually can express what they're feeling. They don't have to just hold it all in. Because what happens when we hold things in? There's nothing good that happens when we hold things in. Because eventually you bottle it all up. And there comes an explosion. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, how do you feel as a woman? What the aspect? Do you like a man that have a little emotion to them, or do you like a man that's like they keep their emotions in and they're just strong-willed men that will never show their emotions?
I think women would, because if a man can be accountable, then you guys can understand each other. If you're in a relationship with a man that is not in tune with his emotions and is in denial about things, or perhaps narcissistic, then he's not accountable if he never does anything wrong. So as a man, actually being in tune with your emotions is a strength, because you have control of yourself and how you interact with other people. I'm not saying it makes you perfect, but at least you know what you're feeling and what to do with those feelings.
Yeah. So that's true, because there are a lot of women out there that they see a man that's not emotional. They see them to be more like a man that's not emotional to be more of their strength. But then some women will see it more as a man that's emotional is weak, and they could walk all over them.
That's true.
That, he always complaining. He always come in his feelings about this and that. Some women say that.
I also want to go back to what you said earlier. We don't want men that's too sensitive either. And let me speak for all women, because some women like that. But I think most women like a man that has that balance of that masculinity and like holding stuff down, and the emotions. We don't want y'all to. Well, I don't want you to be too feminine. Being able to be both and have that balance. Because I've had some friends who are like, oh no, he is just too sensitive for me. Like, I got my own hormones and my own emotions. But it's really about who raised you. Maybe that man is sensitive because of how he was raised, and that's okay. It's just all about what you like.
Yeah, it is all what you like. But let's go back to the man, because the man also needs to have somebody who's gonna build him up. So if the person is that emotional, do you think that that person is like, they can, like, if that person is like, say if they have a woman that feels that they so emotional, is it good for them to just like attack them in that way and say, you too emotional, I'm dealing with you, or is it their job to build them up?
I would say build them up. But it also depends on maybe that woman that's complaining ain't ready for that. Maybe she's not in an emotional place to deal with that. But I'm not making excuses for her. But I would say, yeah, we're supposed to build each other up. So she needs to build him up.
So, like I said, how do you think there's a way that they can build them up? Because some people don't understand what it means to build up.
Well, communication is first. Like if he is being oversensitive, then if he's not going to know that unless you say, hey, it gets to me, or it's a little, it's a little much when you do this and that. And maybe he doesn't realize he's doing that. Maybe he can improve the way he does things.
Yeah.
What was the question again?
No, but how could a woman build them up? Because
Oh,
yeah,
you can build a man up by being grateful, telling him, validating his feelings just like he validates yours. Like, you're a great husband, or you're a great boyfriend. You're hardworking. Thank you for all the things you do. Like, you're not in this alone, or just that's how you build up a man.
yeah, but this is an emotional man.
Oh, an
This
emotional
is an
man.
emotional man. He's emotional. He's complaining a lot. He's he's thinking about like just everything.
Keeping him busy and helping him explore some hobbies, because if he's emotional, he's thinking too much, and he's judging himself too much, judging everything too much. So he needs to find something that's going to motivate him and encourage him to not, you know what I mean? Like, if we have different outlets in our lives to put all these things that we carry, we won't be as emotional. For an example, maybe he found a men's a men's support group, or maybe he found some men that he, golfing, and I don't know, if he found something that gave him motivation to keep going or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But for
Most
those,
Sorry. Most of all, find out why is he emotional. Maybe he's emotional because maybe you're not speaking his love language. Maybe he's like, man, you don't never lay with me, or you don't cuddle with me. Like, that's the guy that's emotional, and you're like, oh my god, he always want me to cuddle with him. Maybe because that's not your love language. So you guys have to talk and kind of meet each other's love language. That's a big one too. There's women who don't like to cuddle, and they have a partner that likes to cuddle. So in their mind, oh, he's too emotional. Well, try to meet his love language in a different way. If it's not cuddling, do something else that's kind of in the same category of affection. Maybe you don't want to cuddle. What else could you do to make him feel loved if you're not cuddling?
me as a man, like I said, I'm not like, I'm like in between. I'm emotional and also you got that man, like you got to be a man, strong type stuff going on. But in the end of the day, you like, communication is key. If you come into a relationship right off back, I think that you need to tell them, like, yo, this is what I want, this is what I like, and if they don't like it, then they can go their way. So if they decide they want to go with you and be with you, and then decide they want to change up on you, then I guess that's not the person for you.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But if they talking about you emotional, you this, you that, end of the day, yes, some people are too emotional and they do need to seek some counseling, and they need to talk to somebody about it. Counseling, it don't have to be a professional, but it can also be through a pastor or anything else. or just even talking to a person, somebody else who understands what you're going through, and that can give you advice and not just listen all the time. They can give you a little advice, and also they're not gonna just pity party you and be on your side. They can give you the negatives. They can give you the positives. So, but when it comes down to relationship, I would say, like I said, I would say that you have to be straight with a person. You can't automatically just throw that on the person, because if the person don't understand that, they're gonna complain all the time. They're gonna be just as emotional as you are. So two emotional people together is the worst thing. Because you don't get nowhere at all. You're gonna y'all two is just gonna keep expressing things that y'all don't like and never come up with a solution.
Right. Which is the reason that some people cheat sometimes, because if they don't want to do the work.
Yeah. And because there's no solution, because y'all both complain, but we're not willing to sit down and talk about it. We're not willing to actually say, hey, man, I'm tired of you complaining about this. I'm tired of you doing this. I'm tired of you. I'm tired. I'm just tired. So what are we going to do? And then this person come at them again. They say, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. So what we going to do? And then y'all both can't figure out nothing, because y'all both are in your feelings. And your feelings is more important than that person's feelings. And it gets nowhere. So I would say when it comes down to emotions, you have to find ways to check that. You got to find ways to deal with it. So one way of dealing with it, I've talked about this numerous times, is writing things down. Journaling.
I was just about to say that.
Journaling is key to a lot of things. Like, it don't even have to be, like I said, you ain't got to write it down. You can do what I'm doing right now. You can talk on the camera and put it out there if you want to. You can record it. Most people, nobody has a recorder anymore. So, and if you do, you the man. Hey, you the girl, you woman, or whatever.
They might have a recorder.
If you got a recorder, that's cool. That's even better. You know, that's old school right there. Old school is real. Like, for those who know about the recorder, it's real. But in the end of the day, you can record it. You can write it down. You can...
Tell them why, though. Why do they need to write it down?
Well, you write it down so that you can see where your flaws were. You also record what your thoughts were, so that you can better yourself and get that out, so that it's not staying in your brain. Because things that stay in your brain, you continue to build up and build up and build up. And then you can be stuck on that one thing that's the key to you actually growing, but you stuck on that one thing that don't help you. And then develop different things. And develop you just having different issues when you come to relationships. You have developed having different issues when it just become to you growing in your job. Have different issues become to you actually doing things outside and being a better person, because you're stuck on one thing. Because our emotions it's really strong. Like, we as humans are very emotional, whether we know it or not. The people who talk about, I don't got no emotions, I don't be sad, I don't cry.
Yeah, but what
I
happens?
ain't cried when my mom's died. I ain't cried when my brother died. But why is that? What you mean you ain't cried? Whatever. Okay, that's just you not being able to show your emotions. But that don't mean that it ain't inside of you. That really doesn't. For those who feel that that's that, no, it's still inside of you. When you become numb, you may not have emotions at that time, but that emotion is still in you. It's in your brain. Once your brain decides to bring it to your body, that's when we have a problem. That's when people lose it. That's when you have people who deal with something and then they take it out on the next person because of that reason. So no, we have to deal with it. So if I'm feeling numb If you're feeling numb, maybe you need to write about it. Maybe you need to talk about it. Maybe you need to do something about it. Because at the end of the day, feeling numb is not saying that you don't care. It's not the fact that you don't care. It's not the fact that this not affecting you. It's affecting you. It's the fact that you feeling numb. Why are you feeling numb? Why? Because that happened. Because this person died. Because this happened. Because I lost my job.
Being overwhelmed. Yep.
That's why you're feeling numb. It's no other reason why you're feeling numb. It's because of that. So just understand that there's things that you need to write down. You need to put that out there. Because when you're feeling numb, eventually it's going to hit your body. And once it hits your body, you're going to take it out on somebody else. You're going to let it out somehow. Because you know how to use the drug? You use your drugs. You use your alcohol. What happens when a person is drunk? What happens? All that numbness, you saying you numb, you black out, don't you?
Spilling out.
And what happens when they black out? They don't remember nothing that they did, right? When you end up in a jail cell, or you end up in a predicament, you wake up and then they said you did this and you did that. You cursed this person out. You beat somebody up and you don't remember doing it.
Or those things that you was avoiding, like you end up spilling out because when you drink alcohol or whatever you do. And I'm not saying we're perfect. We drink alcohol too, but when you drink alcohol, all that stuff spills out that you try to keep tucked away.
And like I said, it has nothing to do with alcohol. It has nothing to do with any of that.
No, I just brought it up because you mentioned it.
Yeah, and that's cool. But what I'm saying is, like, this is when all of that stuff come back. Like, it comes to you. It automatically, like, it'll trigger something. Like, alcohol brings out the truth in people. It brings out the true person. So once they get drunk, they could be numb. That's when they start getting emotional. That's when they start, we all know people. That's how they sound to us. And he's like, okay, I don't want to hear this no more. And that's how it's like, And if you agree, you know, every drunk person sound like, really drunk. I'm talking about drunk where they expressing their feelings. Drunk. And you don't want to hear that, do you? I don't want to hear it, I know that. But in the end of the day, we all need to work on ourselves. We all need to know that there are options to getting through our emotions. There are things we can do to help ourselves. And if you feel like you're by yourself, there's things you can do by yourself. You don't need people to get through what you're getting through. Like, there are so much things that you can do without people. Like, when people say, I don't have no friends, I don't got no family, I'm just by myself. Yeah, but a lot of times we choose to be by ourselves. We actually do have somebody there. You might have your sister there or something, but you don't want to talk to them. You don't want to say nothing to them because you want to hide your feelings. You want to just be in your feelings. But you can talk to people. And some people are willing to listen. They're willing to even just help you through this. But you're not giving them the opportunity because you're in your feelings. So I would say, you know what? I don't want to elaborate on this too much, but at the end of the day, we all have to be strong. Whether you're a man or a woman, we have to be strong, but we also all have to communicate. We all have to tell people what's going on, the people that care about us, what's going on. Because in the end, if somebody don't know what's going on with you, they can't help you. All that stuff is just built in you. Nobody can help you. I could sit here and think of everything that's going on with me and all the stuff that's hurting me. And if somebody is all the stuff that's hurting me, but if I can't get it out of me, there is no way of me getting better. There's no way. Because all the stuff that hurt me is still in me. It's still building up. Eventually, it's going to be more stuff that's going to come to hurt me. There's always stuff in life. We all know that stuff in life is out there to hurt us. This is it's just inevitable that something's going to come to us and it's going to hurt us. So why not get it out before something else coming and it build up? Why not?
And plus, next time something else happens, because you worked on it the first time, we just learn how to deal with stuff as they come then.
Yeah. You definitely do. And then also with this emotional thing, that's how, like, we talking about men. Men are supposed to be strong. Men are supposed to be the builders, and they're supposed to be the providers, and they're supposed to be anything that's strong. And if a man is weak, we don't want nothing to do with them. But it also comes down to these women. And we'll talk about that on another time. Because women sometimes break down men.
And it's also the other way around too.
No, it do. Like, but I'm just saying.
But no, you're right.
This culture, like this community in itself, men are supposed to be this provider.
I gotta go. The baby's waking up.
The men, like I said, men are supposed to be the provider, but a lot of women break this down. So we'll talk about that next time about women. But I'll say it on this one, and I'm gonna end it on this. Men, we have to stay in strong, but we also have to express ourselves. We also have to just talk to people. Like I've said it before, we have to talk to people if we need help. And it could be anybody that you trust. It could be a counselor if you don't want to talk to somebody. But we also need to just help ourselves. We need to be healthy too. We need to not be exploding on people just because we're in our feelings. We need to just be focused on what we need to do to grow ourselves. Because like I say, if you're not strong in your emotions or anything else, you're not going to have a healthy relationship with anybody. And I'm not talking about being in a relationship. I'm talking about a relationship, just even talking to somebody, even just having a friendship. You're not going to have that because you're not allowing a person to, you're not going to allow a person to even be inside because you're going to have the trust issues just like a woman has. You're going to have you're going to block people out because you're going through something. So like I said, men are just as emotional as women are. I think so. I don't know what you think, but we're very emotional. But we just don't show it. It's inside of us. So why not break that out so that we're not so emotional and we can build on that and we can become stronger with expressing our emotions. But at the end of the day, I'm going to leave it on that one. Subscribe, hit the like button. Driven Within. Keep on driving. Keep on moving. And I'm out. It's your man B Chat. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.